But no,
those aren't
everything
the
has
guys
a
getting
ripple
on eBay
effect.
to buy Quakies.
No, they're not getting on eBay to buy Quakies. My Quakey hookup actually called here a little bit. If you heard my phone buzzing before,
Tell them
Yeah.
to send me some. I need them.
no, I texted him the other day. I'm like, I need to order some. He's like, I can get you one.
That's
Send it to
crazy,
me.
man.
No, you
I got a
ain't.
tournament in about 3 weeks.
No, you're
That's
on your own.
crazy. What a world.
And you know who I'm talking
Dude,
about.
it's nuts.
Like if he can't get them,
Oh, yeah.
if Matt can't get
Yeah.
them,
I mean, I give him whatever he wants. So,
yeah. So,
well, yeah, I don't know if any of that, you want to kind of lead into a conversation on the industry as a whole, but, we certainly can do that if you want to.
yeah.
Well, we talked about state of the industry. The tariffs are part of that. The economical part of it is part of that. So let's
I mean, you could talk about look at the price of those baits. Well, granted, I mean, I live in Toothy Critter Land.
Go right into it from the koi key.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Toothy Critter Land. Adam and I just talked about this the other day, and I'm like, I'm not even ordering any.
Yeah.
He's like, well, just order one. Just get one. I'm like, I'll make one cast. And we fondly refer to those northern pike as snot rockets. And it's going to take the dang bait.
Yeah.
And there I sit, with all my knowledge, tying a wacky rig Senko back on.
It just never fails.
On that.
Yeah.
But after the experience that I had the other day on the water, I would be willing to take 3 or 4 of them with me up there and sacrifice that because of the potential of what happened.
Well, yeah.
The thing is freaking real.
Yeah.
Like real.
It's showing up on enough top 10s. It has to be.
Yeah.
I have never seen fish react to a lure like they've never seen a fishing lure in their life, the way that they did with this. It's stupid. And there was no forward-facing sonar involved whatsoever.
That's even more fun, yeah.
I've heard from a ton of people that they're not even using it with forward-facing sonar. They're just it's something different.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the way that they act to this bait. That's going to change. They're going to get conditioned to it. But right now, wow, is all I can say. It's crazy.
That's it. When drop shotting first got big on the bay, you could 2D smallmouth, right? Because we didn't have anything else. You'd mark them, you'd throw your tube out, and they'd fall out right to the bottom. As soon as they hit bottom, they'd leave. And when you took somebody in your boat, the first time you ever had that going on, and somebody had a drop shot tied up, and that bait fell fast to the bottom but stopped a foot short, they ate it every time. Like they'd never seen a bait do that before, They were like, "This is the most fun in the world."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it's like you got to give them something different. You got to give them something that goes to the bottom or never goes to the bottom. One of the two, because they're conditioned.
Or you got to hold it there in one spot for 3 minutes while they do circles around it and finally grab the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I do like state of the industry wise. Like, I do worry just about like where innovation could possibly go next. Like, I just don't see it. There's not been, we talked about it, a little bit earlier, Kurt. Like, I don't know. I mean, products are getting pretty boring. They are. And I mean, I'm part of that. Like, I get it, but if you look at like, we're all responsible not just for creating baits but selling them, and new ideas only rarely sell well.
Right.
I mean, we'll talk about that with the spoon later, but like that's kind of like lightning in a bottle. And what sells well is stuff that's already selling, or iterations of what's already selling. And I just think we're at a point right now where like, man, it's just boring. How many different minnows can we make? How many jig heads can we make? Like a minnow's a minnow is a minnow.
So that's where I've heard the argument so many times about bass fishing is unwatchable because of forward-facing sonar. It's not that I'm looking at a guy's back for hours on live. That's not what gets me. It's that it's always the jig head minnow. every single time. We're not used to that. We're used to KVD throwing the crank out on Kentucky Lake and smashing them. We're used to him going down on Amistad and throwing the 12-inch, man's jelly worm, or Brower flipping the jig. It's always something different. And now, literally, almost every single tournament is a jig head minnow. There is no deviation from that.
I mean, think about how interesting these these tournaments on TVA used to be, where like these ledge fests, and watching guys like cycle through baits. Dude, that doesn't exist anymore. But like the science and art of like, oh man, first cast at this school is going to be with this, and if they won't bite that, I'm moving down here, and we end up at the drop shot of the Carolina rig, but like that's like 8 baits down the list, and man, it's just like way more boring now.
Well, I think there's still that bait process that people do, especially if they're more spot oriented with the forward facing sonar. If they're chasing roamers, it seems to be 2-3 baits, but if they're fishing a spot and they got groups of fish, they definitely seem to cycle through different stuff. But I think the diversity of those items is not as much.
Yeah.
And when you got, nowadays you have 9 out of top 10 doing something that's not that. We used to, like you said, you could watch a tournament and whether Kevin was running away with it or Hackney or whoever the heck it was, you had a guy cranking, and then they take the camera to the next guy and he's flipping. They take the camera to the next guy and he's frogging or drop shot. And he always had, like, back when Aaron Martins was around, like, you never knew what he was going to do, so you always got to see a different aspect.
I mean, think about a guy like Brian Thrift, like that guy, like he's just junk fishing, and that's just, I don't know, man. That's what's fun to watch.
Spinnerbait. You never knew what he was going to do.
Right.
Yeah. When I get to, like, it does take away from, I think, part of what's kind of quintessential in fishing. Like, think about it, man. We've all been here, right? Like, maybe you just caught one on a crankbait, and you throw it another couple times, and you know that if you throw it long enough, you'll probably catch another one. But there's part of your brain that's like, I wonder if I could catch him on the hair jig. Yeah. Like, and then you do that a couple of times, man, but like, I wonder if I could catch one on the spoon. Like, and even if you've already caught one on another thing, there's this part of your brain that's really fun that like keeps wanting to try something different. Yeah. And so I do think like this jig head minnow trend, it's maybe the difference is like, is it just as satisfying to say, oh man, I just caught one on a 3-inch armor shad. Like, wonder if I could catch one on a 6-inch. I mean, there's some of that going on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, to me, it's not as satisfying.
Yeah, the technique's still the same, right? Whether it's a 5-aught hook guppy head and a 7-inch minnow, or a 1-aught one with a 3.5-inch minnow, it's the same technique.
And hear me say, like, I mean nothing against the guys that are really good at it. Like, it is a skill that can be developed, and the guys that are good at it have a legitimate skill. Like, I'm not one of these guys that's just like, oh, it just makes everything easy, and you're not even having to try. Like, whatever, dude, forget it.
Come in the boat with me last fall when I was smallmouth fishing, marked them all over the place, and you still couldn't get them to bite.
Right, like that. There's still real skill involved. I just mean, we talked some about like the entertainment value of live bass fishing or just bass fishing as a whole. Like, I mean, part of what was fun about Bassmaster Magazine when I was getting into it was, every one you read is going to have like a new technique that you've never even dreamed of before.
Yeah. And
like some new bait that I want to go to the tackle store and buy now because I read an article about it or saw somebody using it. I think all of us that like to fish, like part of what we like is learning something new. And that's why we love innovative baits. Like, we get to learn a new way to catch a fish.
Yeah.
And we've caught thousands of fish. Like, we could keep catching the same way we've been doing it, but we love to learn something new. Yeah. And I just think this is reduced, like, how often that's happening. Like we talked about, man, it's still super fun to go catch them on forward facing. It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, from an entertainment value standpoint, like, I'm a fan of bass fishing. Man, I didn't watch much last year. And I know I'm not alone, but like, I don't know.
I'm
like
with
you. Said, Yeah, or like as
You
a
don't
bait
get
manufacturer, I'll be honest, and I know these elite guys and other guys are picking up on this, and they're not going to like it, but it's true. Top 10 articles, man, that's the only thing I care about as a bait manufacturer. I mean, yeah, we get the occasional shout out in some magazines. That stuff is really good. But what's really, really good is immediately post tournament, top 10 article, click through link to buy your product that they were using.
Yep.
Well, now if it's just like, homemade jig head and minnow, like I've gotten on, I'll be honest, like I have gotten on to some guys, in the journalism space of bass fishing because like their top 10 articles suck now. Like, don't let these guys get away with this. Like, what you're going to tell me it was an unnamed jig? Like, I don't even think it was mine, but like, do your job and find out what it was. Like, that's what we're here to find out. And I just think these guys are going to realize, like, as the entertainment value declines, I mean, look, their value declines. That's just the reality. It just doesn't move the needle much anymore. It used to be a guy fishing on live, catching stuff, catching fish on your baits was great. It probably doesn't happen as often now because it's jig head minnows. I mean, Crush City, like they're probably doing awesome, right? Like mooch minnows and freeloaders, they're selling the fire out of those suckers. Spunk shads, I mean, dude, yeah, they're selling the fire out of them. But it makes me far less likely to support anglers if like the top 10 article is just not going to include my stuff. I don't know. It's hard to measure value.
What I fear with this whole deal, like I think forward facing sonar from a fishing standpoint is fine. But like you said, people don't want to watch it and this and that. But at the end of the day, just like that excise tax, right? Like the excise tax funds all this stuff. The industry is what funds those tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
These anglers don't want to pay an entry fee, right? They want to win as much money as possible. They want the organizations they fish for to give them as much exposure as that organization can. But that all comes from mostly money that's sponsorship money.
Right.
Well, being from the north, I think I have a unique perspective. You can throw a stone in any direction and you're going to hit a walleye fisherman in the eye. You could throw 100 stones and never hit another bass fisherman. But the bass fishermen outspend the walleye fishermen.
That's probably true. Mm-hmm.
Because I've worked in fishing retail almost my whole life. When you walk into a bait shop up here, the most profitable area in that place is where the night crawlers and minnows are and where the round ball lead jigs are. Because that's almost all them walleye fishermen, that's all they buy. But there's no money there.
Yeah. Well, those are race to the bottom items.
It's a race to the
and you make it.
Yep, race to the bottom items, and there's only so much room for so many brands. And when you lose brands or the brands start making less and less money, like if your sales over the next 5 years dwindle 25%, what happens to your marketing budget? It at least loses 25%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Garmin and Humminbird and all these electronics companies think it's great now because so many people are constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses, get the next new thing. But they can't support the whole industry for forever.
Right. Well, and I still just believe then you end up with an industry that looks more like that walleye industry where like you said, like jig heads, like it's a race to the bottom. There's no brand loyalty. None of it is cool. And like, that's boring. People want to walk down a crankbait aisle or a jig aisle or a spinnerbait aisle full of cool, unique items. Yeah. That's why, like, we're gearheads, man. We love that stuff. And, that's made the bait industry pretty boring and one-dimensional. And that's why I think, like, man, product launches at some of these, recent shows, iCasts and Bassmaster Classics, like, man, I think everybody's just running out of ideas. And as long as forward facing is going to play such a major role, which again, like there's merits for it.
Yeah.
I do think as an entertainment product though, we'd all be better off if it probably went away. you hate to say that. I think everybody's making some good moves to limit it. I'm not one of these guys that's just like anything new can't be allowed. Like, that's not me.
Right.
But like, hey, if you're a Bassmaster right now, you need to understand how this is decreasing your entertainment value. You are a media entertainment company.
Yeah.
If your product is less interesting, not only are you not going to do as well, but anybody associated with you, those anglers, like, man, morale, I feel like, is at an all-time low in the professional bass fishing ranks. And I'm a contributor. Like, it's hard for me to keep spending money with these guys when they don't move the needle anymore.
Yeah. Well, and as people quit watching, it's just going to make it so that on that end, they're going to get less sponsorship.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
If you got 100 people watching your product, you're worth X. If you got 1,000 people watching it, you're worth 10 times X.
Yeah. But I'll be honest, like, as a brand, like, man, we can talk marketing. I still, like, I have some close friends that are professional bass fishermen. We still support professional bass fishermen. We believe in what they're doing to further the sport. But then you talk about a guy like Matt, like, he can go fishing wherever he wants to. He can film a video on any bait he wants to. He doesn't have to worry about winning some tournament and competing with guys. He can make an entertaining product however he wants to. And that's way better for me. Truthfully.
We had a long conversation. Was that with Kyle or was that with Logan? We talked about the value of a coach.
That was with Logan.
And that's where, there's the Scott Canterbury's. Scott's one of my closest friends. But it's different what he does versus what a Matt Allen or Tim Little do.
Yeah.
And I get, at one point in time, there was a lot of validation that was, I'm a professional bass angler, and that's who was listened to, but the time has changed.
Yeah. I mean, it really has. I mean, and it's funny because there's some of those guys, like, man, like a guy like Canterbury is one of my favorites because he, like, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but, like, social media, okay, yeah, that's fine. But, man, when you see Scott interact with customers in person, there is no denying he's one of the best in the business at it.
Yeah.
And you can see his value. Like, if you walk in Mark's Outdoors and he's in there, man, he's so good with kids. He's so good with young anglers. He's so good at being with people. But there's definitely a subsection of pro fishermen that think they're there because they're really good at catching fish. Yeah. Their job is being really good at catching fish. And you just don't know how to tell them, it's not your job. Like,
that's not all your job. That's not the only thing.
It's
not
a small
if you want to have a
job.
30-year career. Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a 30-year career, like, you got to get really good at some other things besides catching fish. And, the only reason all that stuff exists really is to help us sell more baits. I mean, the industry decided, like, we're putting money behind this because it helps us market. And if it's not helping us market anymore, payouts can't increase. Like, we can't support more pros.
I used to ruffle feathers when you start having those tough conversations come contract time.
No, it's tough. Yeah.
Oh, you catching a lot of fish makes your real job easier is what I'd always say.
That's a good way to put it. But it's true. And it's hard because I know some of those guys, like, I like that some of bass fishing is a meritocracy. You've got to earn your way on in the Elite Series.
Yeah.
You're catching fish only. Yeah. But that does mean that there's going to be some guys that get on there that, like, man, yeah, they can catch fish, but that's all they know how to do. And so then they kind of don't do that well. Maybe they'll have some success, but you guys know as well as I do, unfortunately, bass fishing, like, if you're not first, you might as well be last.
Yeah.
Like, the winner is the only one that matters. And so it's just
Ricky
hard.
Bobby.
I mean, yeah, it's true in fishing, though. Like, good Lord.
I mean, really, that top three is about all that's valuable.
Yeah.
As far as moving the needle. Now, if you have someone that's doing something really different than the rest of the field, that they move the needle a little more. Or if you got someone that comes from behind and gets a lot of press because of that, they get a lot of good heat for that.
But I mean, dude, I'm telling you, I still get press kits from guys that like they base their value as a pro on how many miles they drive with your logo on their truck.
Yeah.
And they're relating that to impressions, and that impression is worth X amount of dollars. I'm just like, dude.
You're still getting a Cox report from somebody?
Oh yeah, all the time. And they still think that matters. And I'm just like, dude, I don't care if you like. I'm glad you have my logo on your stuff. Like, we want that. We're paying for it. But like, it doesn't sell anything for me.
No,
really. It just doesn't. But there's still guys that are just really locked into that. And obviously there's a lot of meat on the bones of what even is a professional angler. I mean, I still think that we have one of the only industries where every average Joe thinks that they deserve a sponsorship deal. I mean, that's exhausting, but it's part of it.
We could do a whole podcast on the difference between professional staff or promotional staff.
Well, I'll probably get into trouble if I start talking about that too much. Yeah. I better keep my mouth shut. But I mean, my favorite emails are still the ones that we get where it's like, hey, I've got 200 followers, and I'm really I know that I can help you sell more baits and grow we just really want to help you grow your brand. I'm like, man, I'm so glad I found you. Like, you can help me grow my brand. It's not that I spend literally every waking moment trying to do that. But you can help me do that. Okay, like. Tell me more. It's almost insulting. But I better keep my mouth shut.
Oh, we could talk for days about the silly emails.
I can only imagine the thousands of messages.
Yeah. Oh, I feel bad. And like, Miranda's our marketing manager, and like, I've just selfishly gotten to a point where anything I get, I just forward it to her, and I let her deal with it. And I mean, she is inundated with it. But it's one of those things, honestly, guys, like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
We've learned, okay, like, we've done everything. And I know that this is a tangent, but like, we've done everything. We tried to say, hey, like, if we're admitting that what some of this is promotional staff, what we're talking about, like, you're not a professional angler, but like, hey, you do talk about our brand on social media. That's worth a discount, whatever. If we're admitting that we're going to do that, what if we had like kind of a rigorous application and made people go through it? Well, okay, so we do that. You have an application. You're still going to get 500 a day filled out by people.
Yeah.
So then you start thinking, all right, well, maybe it's time to pull that link off the website because we just can't handle the requests. Because when you take the applications, well, then you feel a little bit of obligation to respond in some way. And then you realize if you say no, you're turning away a potential customer. So that feels kind of bad. So then you start thinking, well, maybe we ought to take this down. As soon as you take it down, you just get blown up with emails, the same number of emails. Hey, how do I apply for your pro staff?
Yeah.
Like, you just can't win. Like, there's just no way around it. You're just going to have to field all of it. And it's just exhausting.
And do you still feel that a lot of that, it's like a 3 to 5 year cycle with people?
Oh yeah, like as far as the people that are applying for these kinds of things.
Yeah, they're in it. Yeah. They're gung ho. They do good. I mean, I've seen a lot of them. They do a lot of work. They work their butt off for 3 to 5 years, and then they literally go poof, gone.
Or well, here's where it usually will end too: is somebody like that that's done really good, and like you've been given maybe a good discount to, and you deepen their discount over time. Then they want to get paid, and man, ooh. That's tough. Like, that's not really part of it. And then when they realize you're never going to pay them because you just can't, and there's just not enough money to go around. But like, we had a good thing. You were getting stuff that you really liked at a discount, and you were talking about it. Like, we love that. But yeah, I can usually see a signal to the end when they either like want free stuff entirely, or they want to get paid because they're fishing some whatever series events. They want their entry fees paid because maybe they've heard that that's a thing that somebody got one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough, man. Like, I can't justify paying anybody's $500 Toyota entry fee. Like, can't do it. So that's usually where the cycle ends. But I also feel bad. Like, there are brands and companies that have, I think, had a predatory stance on these kind of people too. It's almost like the model is, if everybody's a pro staffer, nobody's a pro staffer. So let's just make everybody one. And, God, like, if every customer we call a pro staffer and we give them a quote unquote discount based on an artificial full price, how do we lose?
No.
I mean, it's kind of, it's a predatory model that is definitely out there being used by